another guy who's on the last year of his deal is James Harden. He's an older
and he can't be
player at this
extended.
point. Can't be extended. I mean, do you expect, they'll have his bird rights. Do you expect them to re-up next summer and bring him back on, it's not going to be a max deal. I'm assuming he's not a max level player anymore, but probably should get a pretty good contract out of it, right?
I would not make that assumption. I would not make that assumption at all. Like, this is a team that Eric Gordon was on this team, and he was a valuable contributor to this team. He was on a $20 million contract. The trade to get him cost the Clippers the 20th pick in this past draft. It went down to 30. The 20th pick wound up being a player that some people would not have been shocked if he was a top 5 pick in Cam Whitmore. So you can imagine how people felt about that around here. And so Eric is a much more valuable player on the deal that he is on now in Phoenix than the deal that the Clippers wound up waiving him from, the non-guaranteed $20 million. Why I bring him up is because Steve Ballmer owns the Clippers. Who cares how much money, right? Like, just go out but no, like, the front office is being very clear with the communication with the stars about the new ramifications of the CBA, about team building, about the fact that they can't make moves like this very often going forward. The Norman Powell trade from 2 seasons ago, that was like, wow, you can only do that deal if you're willing to bankroll it, basically. They can't do those trades anymore going forward. This is one of probably your last best shot. And so if this doesn't go a certain type of way, James Harden in LA might be Jimmy Butler in Philadelphia. Okay, like, that's how I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this as, this is a hell of a big four, but it is also this is a coalition. This is a short-term unit. Everybody come back to LA. Let's get this done, because after this, you never know. I mean, Well, it's funny. Sunday night we saw Wemby, and after that game, even though Spurs lost by 40, it was like, get your chips now, because that dude's coming.
We got to do something because it's almost over.
And he ain't the only one, Dave.
So as we wrap up, what are your expectations for this team? Do you think they're going to have a rough start? Do you think the chemistry is going to be there right away? Is this a top 4 seed in the West?
I thought it was a top 4 seed in the West before the deal, but also I only make these predictions understanding that assets can change over the course of a season. In other words, I was anticipating the Clippers making a move. The Clippers have always done a big move on the Lawrence Franks. So this is a powerful regular season team. The chemistry, it's going to be rough, especially defensively. You got to figure out how the heck you're defending with James. But on the other end, you're also going to you're going to ask to switch. And James has been in that kind of a defense for quite some time. Like, I think people are tripping about James' defense a lot, when in reality, James is going to be asked to be physical, have a nose for the ball, help them rebound. Look at James's career. Like, James is always going to force turnovers when they're available. He's always going to try and end possessions with rebounds, and you're going to have to beat James off the ball. And beating James off the ball requires all those other dudes. He's playing with Kawhi and Paul, the best perimeter defenders he's ever played with in his career. And James has he has an attention. He has an urgency. Everyone has an urgency where it's like, you don't want to be the dude to mess this up. You don't. Like, you're at home, you're playing for your dudes. Like, this ain't the time to be tripping about whether you an all-star or not, or whether you getting 30 or not. So I think that balances out the chemistry concerns about how long this will be. This is not going to be smooth, but eventually it's going to come down to, these dudes are talented and they really want this.